share an introduction of Haleakala Crater and our services. Crater Bound provides 3 basic services: our camping outfitter service, our packing service, and the day hike. Our camping outfitter service takes you into Haleakala Crater for 3 days and 2 nights. We provide all of the equipment, food, and labor. We are also able to camp in Kipuhulu, near the ocean. Our packing service packs in your gear to the cabin or campsite of your choice, 150 pounds maximum per animal. Crater Bound's day hike provides transportation in a spacious 15-passenger van, day packs, rain suits, and water. A professional guide explains the Hawaiian and geological history of Haleakala, then escorts you on a short half-mile hike near the summit. We enjoy the view from Leileivi Lookout on the way down to an easy 2-mile hike on Holly Mile Trail at the 8,000-foot elevation to encounter and experience native birds and plants. We will also create a special tour to suit your needs. While up country on the day hike, we may be able to attend some up-country happenings, such as a rodeo, polo game, visit a winery, flower farm, watch local craftsmen practice their art, or stroll through Makawao, Maui's Paniolo, or Cowboy Town. We have t-shirts and hats available. Please relax and enjoy the video.
Moving Company is back. You know, one of the Valley Isle's most incredible tourist attractions hasn't really been seen by a lot of local folks. For that reason, sit back and watch a Moving Company special, Inside Haleakala Crater. Haleakala Crater, at more than 10,000 feet above sea level, is one of Hawaii's most unusual and breathtaking sights. And this is the view most folks get of the world's largest dormant volcano. A quick look over the guardrail, maybe a few shots to show the folks back home, and that's about it. But there's at least one local guy who'll tell you that the view from up here is nothing compared to the feeling you get from inside the crater itself.
Every time I come into Haleakala, I get a feeling here that I've got no other place in the world. I look around and I'm so overwhelmed by the beauty that it really puts my life and me right in the right place.
Craig Moore specializes in taking everyday folks down to the floor of Haleakala to experience a part of Hawaii that's unlike anything else in the world.
Becky, can you pull a little tension on that, please? Yeah. Just snug, hold it right here.
With their business, Crater Bound, Craig and his wife Becky are prepared to take over a dozen happy campers for a round-trip journey of a lifetime.
Oh, Mikey, you think you're having a nice day so far? You just wait. I'm going to take you places you've never been.
Today, Cricket, Matthew, and Mikey will do most of the hard work. On their backs, they'll carry all our tents, sleeping bags, food, and basically everything needed for a comfortable stay. As Craig will tell you, all you have to do is get there. He'll take care of the rest.
When we pack into the crater, we've got to make sure that all of our equipment is top shape, that everything is packed, that the loads are even, that the animals are in top shape, that everything is ready to go, because all of our lives and our animals depend on it.
With Craig in the lead, the group heads down into one of the most unusual and beautiful places on the planet. And since Craig has worked in and around Haleakala National Park for more than 5 years, he knows this part of the world pretty well. Today's trek will follow the southern face of the crater along the Sliding Sands Trail. The final destination, Holua Campgrounds, a healthy 8 miles away.
The walking is relatively easy. The trails are well marked and maintained. A person in average physical health can make it very easily in a day hike or on our trip. You have to pace yourself going out and make sure that you have plenty of water and watch out for the high altitude.
Craig told the group he'd have everything ready when they get to the campground. So within the first few miles, he, Cricket, and Mikey will hustle ahead. The hikers have their crater-bound day packs with water, rain gear, a few munchies, and of course Becky and Matthew to keep them company. As they move down the crater wall, the sun begins to take the edge off the cold air, making for perfect hiking conditions. The sandy terrain becomes rocky, but on the trail itself, it's still an easy walk for horses and people. All you do is shoulder your day pack and enjoy the scenery.
Coming down into the crater, every time you go around the corner, there's a different view. It's like a whole different place opens up in front of you every time you make a turn.
Now, there are some rules to follow here in Haleakala. The most important of which is that you always stay on the trail. The lack of wind and rain in some of these parts can actually turn your footprints into volcanic graffiti. With no weather to wipe them away, they can be preserved for years. And in the rainy parts of the crater, you might even cause erosion. Besides that, no pets, no wood fires, don't take out anything you didn't bring in yourself, and take everything you did, especially your rubbish. That way, everyone can enjoy the experience.
All right.
At the end of our 8-mile hike, we meet up with Craig again. He's staked out our Holua camping area, and he has most of the work done already. It's a good time to take a break and reflect on all that you've seen.
It makes us realize that we're really not anything special, that this is what's special. And it's really an opportunity that I wouldn't ever pass up to come and be a part of it.
As the sun begins to set, the group is just a few more hours from having a great meal, then a little conversation, and you can bet tonight no one will have any problems falling asleep. So you've walked in 8 miles. Now what at Haleakala? There's a lot. After a night in the crater, you wake up wondering, where the heck am I? But then you smell food coming from the big tent, and you realize you're still in the middle of Maui. And you also realize you have nothing to worry about at all because your host and provider, Craig, has literally taken care of everything.
Anybody can come in and be cold and wet and miserable and eat styrofoam hamburgers for dinner. The art of camping, which we try to do with Crater Bound, is to really give comfort. You have excellent food, full-course meals, you're bone dry, you don't have to do any work. It's a definite art that we're trying to master.
After an incredible meal, Craig suggests a short hike, This time just a couple miles from camp, and he promises all sorts of exciting things.
When we bring folks in here, we want them to do whatever it is that they want to do. If they want to sit down and read a book, if they want to hike lightly during the day, if they want to go for a 50-mile hike in one day, that's what we want them to do. We want them to experience the crater however it is, because everybody experiences it in their own way.
Just down from the camping area is Holua Cabin. Now, anybody can stay there if they're lucky enough to get reservations, and some of the local nenes consider this a pretty good place to hang out. Surprisingly, you can get up close and personal with the state bird. But please, don't feed them. Now, a mile or so from the cabin is where you'll find the start of Silver Sword Loop. If you've been hoping to see lots of this legendary plant, here's your chance.
The silver sword plant only grows in 2 places in the world, and one of them is here. So when people come in to see these, they've never seen anything like them before in their whole life and never will again. They're very unique, they're very rare, and they're very unusual.
How unusual? Well, silver swords live 15 years or so, bloom once, then die. But we were amazed to find so many in bloom. And like so many sights here in the crater, this is just another photographer's dream come true. The hike around the loop was an easy mile or so, and there were plenty of plants right near the trail. That made it easy to stick with the rules and not stray from the path. But if you're that wandering kind of hiker and you want a little more excitement, Craig knows where to find it.
Being a volcanic crater, there's lava tubes throughout Haleakala. It's an opportunity for people to see another thing that they've never seen before. You can go with your flashlight down into these lava tubes and caves and experience them firsthand, and you'll never be able to do that any other place.
With Craig's lantern and flashlights, the group heads into the pitch black of a tunnel that seems to reach forever. About 50 feet underground, this lava tube goes from small, tight turns to areas big enough to drive a truck through. Once, hundreds of years ago, it was a natural duct that carried 2,000-degree lava. Now, it's a harmless but exciting place to explore. Just remember, this is not the kind of place you'd want to get lost in. With unpredictable turns and clumps of sharp lava top to bottom, Craig reminds us, never enter without backup flashlights, just in case. But even when he's in the middle of a tunnel with just enough light to see, Craig says that Haleakala feeling like no other.
There's no other place in the world like Haleakala Crater. It's a unique place. There's animals and plants in here that are no other place. People come inside of here and they see the vast beauty, they feel the beauty, they feel the spirit, they feel the mana of the place. And I think everybody goes home growing a little bit in their own way. See the piles of stones behind you.
This is a story of how abuse can be undone, how man can help nature restore and rejuvenate. Within Haleakala crater are plants and wildlife found nowhere else on Earth, preserved through time and effort.
Mainly we're trying to undo some of the impact that has happened over the past, certainly the past 200 years. Some events like the introduction of goats and pigs and cows to Hawaii had a tremendous impact on the plants and animals that lived here for millions of years, really.
For the past 10 years, the Park Service has been erecting a 42-mile fence that will completely enclose the area and keep out destructive goats and pigs. It's the hope of rangers that steps taken now will show visitors the value of preservation.
I'd like them to go away with the feeling that I certainly have, that this is a very special place. And I don't think you can be here for more than about 10 minutes before you realize that it is a special place. I'd like them also to realize that it's a place that's a little bit in danger, that it's possible for us to lose this wonderful place or aspects of it. I want them to feel like they want to help protect it and save it for those that will follow us.
With the goats gone, that portends a comeback of the ahinahina, the silver sword. The Hawaiian sunflower plant once carpeted the crater floor, reflecting moonlight so well it said no torches were needed by nocturnal travelers.
This is fairly well protected, being a national park, but there's plenty of places that are as beautiful and have got as much potential for doing good for people just in their spirit, that are not protected, that have no protection whatsoever. And wherever you are, if you can find those places, wherever people see them, do what they can to protect them.
The horses journey only to the crater floor, 4 miles down. From here, we must proceed on foot, using a single horse to carry provisions for a crater campsite. Our guide for the next 4 miles is Ranger Teddy Ventura.
Since my childhood days, I've been coming in, and I came in with my parents before, and I like to come in and someday even bring my children in to see the crater so they can see what it's all about, and how Pelly had drawn her pictures and how the mountain came about, and the animals and birds and the special feedings that are in the crater.
The last eruption here was 200 years ago, a mere nanosecond in geologic time. The volcano is technically dormant, not extinct. Haleakala will probably never erupt again, but it's too soon for geologists to say for sure. Hidden under the forbidding terrain are lava tubes, once used by ancient Hawaiians as burial grounds. Teddy has seen many, though he's reluctant to speak of them. They belong to the crater and its spirits, he says, not tourists or amateur excavators. Between the twin towers of Lili'ivipali and Hanakouhi, the maker of mists, we set up camp, above the clouds, under the stars. Ted Rodriguez of Crater Bound meets us at Holua campsite and volunteers to do the cooking so others can collect thoughts and nurse saddle sores and Reebok blisters. Ted knows the sound of every bird in the crater.
Here on these cliffs on this south wall is the primary nesting site for the largest population of uau in Hawaii, and that numbers up to about 500 pairs of uau. Also in this area is another endangered bird, the Hawaiian goose, the nene. With the goats gone, vegetation is coming back, the soil is becoming stable. Where the birds make their nests, which is in the ground or in the caves, these areas are becoming stable now. Where at one time, you could come here at night, when the birds come up at night, you'd never see them. What happens though, you can go through different parts of the crater and you can hear them. That's a good song that they give us every night.
At 9,000 feet above sea level, night comes quickly. The maker of mists begins her work, and soon the sunlight is swallowed by fog.
Pupu, ino ino, pupu, ino ino e, ohi ka ka e, pupu.
Now what's the other part?
civilization, Haleakala is virtually silent, except for the Nene, who issue the gentlest of wake-up calls. Before us is the last and toughest part of the journey, nearly 5 miles to the foot of the Halema'u mountain range and up the rocky switchback trail to the summit. The crater adventure is not for everyone, but to those who make the effort, Haleakala reveals ancient mysteries and shares moments of exquisite beauty.
Crater Bound strives to share in the perpetuation and preservation of the Hawaiian culture and the aloha spirit. This presentation is dedicated in celebration of the life of those who live in this spirit. Video to share an introduction of Haleakala Crater and our services. Crater Bound provides 3 basic services: our camping outfitter service, our packing service, and the day hike. Our camping